Transformers Community Podcast. This is episode 23 for the week of July 9th. I'm Dakazu from the forums, and who is with me this week?
CrossXhunter.
Mr. X.
Rodney.
And Totoro.
Welcome, Cross.
Rodney.
Welcome, Rodney. Rodney, you are back. You are actually here. And, you know, if Totoro doesn't delete your audio file, then you should be in this podcast. Woo woo.
Rodney.
Dorney.
He's not saying anything.
I think that's the joke.
That's the joke.
No, say you see it's funny because, and then explain it.
No.
That way it'll be funny. And Dakazu loves it when I do that.
This is the self-referential stuff that people have been complaining about. We may have too many inside Mumble jokes.
Then maybe they should get inside Mumble. I
think they should join us in Mumble. We should have more people.
Inside Mumble sounds like a name of a good e-zine.
This month on Inside Mumble.
Exactly.
I'm always
Written by Rodney.
I'm always surprised with how many people that play Team Fortress 2 with us, how little of them actually join Mumble.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
We got a couple people to join. Good Lord Man is now there.
Great White
North.
Tumble shows up
Tumble's here right
every
now.
week. I know. Great. Hi, Tumble. Okay, I think we should move on.
Yeah, there's nothing
This is
funny
awful.
down this. There's nothing good down this road.
Cross.
So, I saw Amazing Spider-Man.
I also saw The Amazing Spider-Man.
I was about to say, you guys saw Amazing Spider-Man.
I
would say
for Amazing Spider-Man.
It is the third best Spider-Man movie.
So it's better than Spider-Man 3?
Yes.
That's about it.
I enjoyed Spider-Man 3.
I still haven't seen it.
Did you enjoy this Spider-Man better?
Yeah, I would say so. I just like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I would say he is a much better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. And it's a better overall portrayal of Spider-Man than in the other Spider-Man movies.
He's a better Spider-Man, but he is not a better Peter Parker.
I don't know, I don't read Spider-Man comics. Is he supposed to be all mopey and everything like he was in those movies?
Not that I know, like, he wasn't mopey through much of it, but he seemed nerdier. Maybe it was just, I don't know, Tobey Maguire looks nerdier than Andrew Garfield.
He seemed too old the first movie.
Yeah,
Tobey
that's why they moved
Yeah.
him into college so quickly.
But yeah, I would say he's a better Spider-Man.
Good action sequence of him.
Yeah, the fight scenes I would say are better, but the fight scenes are better in Amazing Spider-Man, but the action scenes, like the giant set pieces and stuff, I would say are better in the other movies.
Who directed this?
Mark Webb.
I like his last name. It fits.
I think he got the job because his last name is Webb.
And I think the person that did editing on it or something was the person that also did the editing on Prometheus.
This is the second worst movie I ever seen.
Wait, Damon Lindelof also wrote the script for this? And
Not wrote.
No, I'm just imagining X's thought process looking through the credits. You know, every time he sees a name involved with Prometheus, he just kicks it down a notch.
I'm just going to say slight spoilers, but if you've ever seen a Marvel movie, this follows the trend of stay through the credit scene.
Yeah, that's not so much a spoiler. That's just like common. That should be common knowledge.
Was there one after the end of the credits or just the one halfway through? Because I left after the one halfway through.
I watched the one halfway through and did not stay through the entire credits, but it was funny watching people get up, and I was like, I've seen a Marvel movie before. I know what to do.
Is this a Marvel Studios movie?
No,
it's still Sony.
Okay.
Apparently, though, there was going to be the Oscorp building in the Avengers, but they had to cut it out.
They were too far along in the CGI production.
Yeah, which is too bad.
So you guys liked it?
Yeah, I would give it like an 8.
Somewhat similar.
So, just for my own edification, like, as far as the basics of the plot go, is it set up so that Peter Parker's father was working at Oscorp with Kurt Connors?
Yes.
Okay.
Spoilers.
I don't think that's a spoiler.
But not like
that much from the not the credits, the previews.
In recent comics, apparently that had his parents being like members of the Shield. It doesn't go down that route.
That we know of.
I don't think they would be allowed to show Shield. I figure that would be a part of the Avengers or something.
Yeah. That whole situation is so convoluted and messed up, and
It makes
pretty
Spider-Man and the X-Men movies seem so isolated.
Marvel
Yeah.
needs to use their Avengers money to buy back their rights.
I don't think they can afford it.
Just shove money at Sony and Fox.
I mean,
maybe
well,
get Fantastic Four.
it would take billions.
Didn't they make like at least that much off of the Avengers alone? At least $1 billion.
Yeah, but that's how much Spider-Man 3 made too. Or
But that
close
movie
to it.
wasn't that the most expensive movie ever made? Somehow.
Maybe. Or Avatar.
No, who knows? But that is kind of well. That's like one of the things that I've always heard about over at Warner Brothers in the DC area. Like you have the Batman people, you have the Superman group, and then you have like the rest of the DC properties, and near the twain shall meet.
Yeah, for the longest time, Batman wasn't allowed to show up in like other media. That's
Yeah.
why, like Teen Titans, that animated show, he never showed
Right.
up, and other such things. They couldn't have him cross over. That's why Oliver Queen was in Smallville.
Are you sure
Right.
that's why?
Yeah, I think as far as I know, they plan on including Bruce Wayne, like doing Batman stuff as a young person. Except they couldn't use Batman, so they chose Oliver Queen because Green Arrow and Batman are somewhat similar.
Or it could have been because everyone would have demanded a Batman show because Batman is a way better character than Superman. So as soon as he showed up, Smallville would have been canceled, and young Batman would have been...
Wayne Manor.
Yes, Wayne Manor would have been instantly greenlit. They were scared of it.
Well, isn't the new Green Arrow TV show starting up this fall or something?
Yep.
Arrow?
Yeah, I think at Comic-Con they're actually running the pilot.
Oh, that'd kind of be cool.
So isn't Comic-Con like this upcoming week?
I think so. It's very soon, if not this week. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna be there that I'm kind of looking forward to, like stuff about the next season of Walking Dead. I know that they're gonna be showing a lot of stuff for The Hobbit.
They're going to have a
Well,
Firefly reunion.
Community panel. Hopefully, I want to see what that is to see how that show will exist.
that's something that scares me. That could be a train wreck.
The Firefly reunion with Joss Whedon.
Why?
I never got all the way through Firefly.
Why not?
I like westerns and all, but I don't know. It just lost me after. Like a lot of things on Netflix, it lost me after a while. I stopped watching Arrested Development partway
What?
through too. I'm in like mid season 3 on that.
It took me a couple of shots getting through the pilot on Firefly before I finally made my way through the whole thing.
Wasn't Firefly pilot like 2 hours long?
And I think it was maybe...
Well, when it first aired on TV, it was probably 2 hours with commercials.
Right, yeah. Well, and then they aired all of the... This is totally common... I think this is common knowledge by now, but they aired all the episodes out of order as well.
Yeah, that's common knowledge.
There wasn't too much through plot through most of the episodes, at least of what I saw,
They didn't even air the pilot.
as the pilot.
Yeah, it was cut up and weird. They aired the second episode first, and then they chopped the pilot into like this weird Origins episode. It was dumb.
Yeah, the train job was the first one. Yeah. That was kind of messed up. I don't like when they mess with that stuff.
Just like X, I think, was talking about some TV show he was watching on Netflix where they changed the music.
Yeah, Supernatural.
I find that do their licensing rights for that not carry over into other forms of
Nope.
media?
Probably not streaming. I think they have to do it when they re-air it, like on TNT or whatever, too.
Well, and I think it's the DVDs as well.
No, the
because I know
DVDs
that-
have the music.
Well, and I'm also thinking about some of the time you have to change that. Like I know 2 other examples where they actually had to go back and change the music for them, for like WKRP in Cincinnati and the Wonder Years. They I know I was watching the Wonder Years the other day, like the pilot on Netflix, and it was like the music was... I don't remember exactly what the music used to be, but it was different. And I think even the opening theme, the Joe Cocker version of Goodbye with the Help of My Friends, was different. I don't think it was the Joe Cocker version.
Well, in Supernatural, they use a lot of like classic rock, so the rights for all of that have to be really confusing.
Right, and it's probably expensive as hell because, I mean, the people who were kind of around in the 70s are at this point, over the past few years, at the point where they're going to be able to demand a lot of money for that stuff.
Yep. So, I think we should talk about Rodney's game of all time.
Oh boy, it's the time.
I think it's time. Gotham City
is this?
Impostors.
Oh my god, you're really gonna bring this up?
Yes, Rodney's favorite game.
So I downloaded this game, all 3.5 gigabytes of it, and I don't know how should we explain this game?
Okay, let's give some context. Rodney lives in
PS2?
Canada, and he has a bandwidth cap every month, so he has limited bandwidth to download like games or whatever on the internet.
And he's like, he has another like 20 days or something left until your cap resets, and you
15 days.
and you only have 30 gigs left of your cap.
Yeah, I think so.
That's crazy.
What did you do?
So I depend on advising these guys on what I should download.
But just
Download
everything.
this 15 gigabyte. Download Max Payne.
Yeah, Max Payne,
30 gigs.
all 30 gigs. So
So
on PlayStation Plus, Gotham City Impostors is one of the free games this week or this month.
This month, yeah.
So I downloaded it at the request of was it Dark Fox or
yes.
Mr. X?
No,
We're
it was
blaming
not me.
Darfox.
I was playing it with him because he was playing it, but I suggested you get Blacklight Retribution, but you went ahead and got Gotham City Impostors.
That's because Darfox said get it, but I don't think Darfox was paying attention or knew specifically that you had a bandwidth cap.
Plus, everybody should just listen to Darfox anyway. He pretty much knows everything.
But Darfox hit a bandwidth cap recently, and that really messed him up. He should be considerate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, though I quote him as saying it was awesome. So, I boot up this game, and it's basically like sort of a Call of Duty clone mixed with 2.
I
Mixed
don't
with
know
Batman.
about Team Fortress 2.
Well, there's a lot of equipment and things you can
It's
unlock.
a multiplayer shooter. It reminds me a lot of that stupid first-person version of what was that game? It was the cross-platform between console and PC.
Shadowrun.
Yes, Shadowrun, because it has gadgets in it.
Mhm.
Like you can pick different classes. That part is kind of like Team Fortress, but you have access to these gadgets like grappling hooks that let you, attach to buildings and zip up high, or you have
Sprint
gliders. So like you can jump up on grates to shoot up steam that will fly you up. Sprint shoes that will make you run faster, skates, stuff like that. The different classes have different amounts of health and like different speeds. Yeah, I mean, oh no, it's everything is there to have like a pretty fun multiplayer experience, right? But it isn't.
That's what you would think.
Oh, and
Why didn't you have fun?
the basic concept of the game is you play as either an imposter Batman or an imposter Joker, and you use guns and shoot people. So it's Batmans versus Jokers.
It's all tied into the license pretty loosely.
Yes.
Just
It is.
cosmetic stuff.
And it's, I don't know what there's a couple issues.
well, the gameplay
I had
is bad.
issues with I had issues with the shooting just because I don't like using the PlayStation 3 controller for shooters. I dislike that controller for FPS.
The aiming in it was way too loose.
Mm-hmm.
To summarize this game, it feels like playing a game of Counter-Strike now, never having played it before.
Just too many systems?
Instant death. You just respawn and die.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like based on like Call of Duty type, where the more you play, the more you unlock, the better gear you get. So and it looked like there was some blatant hacking too, because we're running into players that were like level 790 or something crazy.
Maybe it goes up that high.
Yeah, it might go up that. He said somebody asked him how he got up that high, and he said that it was because he got the game the day it came out.
Well, everyone playing now with Station Plus is all level 1.
Again, it's
Yeah,
a
and
level
we're getting-
700.
That doesn't help exactly.
Yeah, that guy was destroying us.
Feeding into the meat grinder of an online shooter.
So basically, we're never going to play this game
Probably
again.
not.
Yeah.
I did not like it at all.
You wasted 3 gigs of your precious 30 gig, leftover
Actually,
cap.
that was probably closer to 4 because there was that 500 megabyte update.
Yeah.
Yep.
You should call your service provider and tell them your situation. They might be nice.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, call your
It's Rogers,
ISP
isn't it?
and tell them Darfox made you do it.
Well, maybe
They'll
they
know.
played the game. They'll have sympathy.
Or you could
Yeah.
get them to play it and then they'll be like, okay, I understand, sir.
Yeah. I was disappointed.
Yeah, you would have been better off downloading Blacklight Retribution.
Blacklight
My
Retribution.
trust in Darfox has gone down a bit.
I was telling you, Blacklight Retribution was the way to go.
Yep.
Are we
know
going
what
to talk
game-
about that?
Sure.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to interrupt Rodney.
Rodney?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I was playing Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker with Kenzo and Darfox.
That baby game?
Sometimes Darfox has good ideas.
Does he?
That game
Fox has
is
the
really
best
good.
ideas.
Cool Dudes podcast coming soon.
That game is pretty good value.
WWDD. What would Darfox do?
Probably talk about poop.
Poop and butt.
More self-referential jokes.
But he's always
Alright.
talking about poop.
So about Blacklight.
Yes.
Yes.
About Blacklight. How good is this game?
It's pretty good. It's also like Call of Duty.
It's very much like Call of Duty. It wears that on its sleeve really hard.
But it's like a sci-fi version of it. And it's pretty fun. You can get a mech.
It's
So
free to
it's,
play.
Based on Prometheus?
No. What? Huh?
That's what I heard.
You have a power lifter.
No.
Get away from her, you bitch.
And that's Aliens.
Who makes this game?
difference.
Zombie Studios.
And it's published by Perfect World Entertainment, I think.
Didn't they put out Vindictus?
I think they do free-to-play games,
Oh,
as far
Totoro's
as I know.
favorite game.
That's Totoro's
It
favorite.
is.
Is that the game with all the spiders?
Yes.
Yeah, the game opens and you have to fight a giant spider.
Which is not the reason why I completely hate that game. The game is why I hate
It's
that
because
game.
it's just the same level over and over and over again.
Over and over again. And it's
Yeah,
like so
that's the
obtuse.
problem with free-to-play MMO type games. Even if they're action RPGs, they make you grind. But this game is not like that. The shooting in this game is great.
Yeah, that
It's
really
really good.
surprised me. I was expecting it to be kind of bad because it was a free-to-play shooter. But it turned... Because I played that other free-to-play shooter that was on Steam. I can't remember what it was called now, but I...
Tribes?
No. This one has been on there for a while.
Section 8?
No, that's not free-to-play. What?
What?
Valiant Arms. Does that sound right? I think that sounds right.
Combat Arms?
Wild Arms?
No.
Combat Arms is a free-to-play shooter, but I don't think it's on Steam.
But anyway. That game was awful. But this
And this
is
game
really
is good.
Very good.
How is this game monetized?
You can buy equipment.
Yeah, like your gun loadouts. You can customize pretty much everything on it: scopes, stocks, all that, ammo type, and you can either rent it with in-game currency or buy it, which takes a lot. Like, I don't even think I've ever saved up enough to fully customize a weapon, and I've been playing this for months now, even though none of y'all have.
Yeah, I thought that everything was reasonably priced because it was saying it's only $200, and I was getting more than that per game. But that was just to rent that piece of equipment. I think it was like a red dot site for my gun for like a day.
But they also have pre-made weapons to where it's also 200 points, so the same as a piece, and it's a full customized weapon. You can also actually rent it with real currency, which I find to be a strange concept.
That's just a
Well,
waste.
they're free to play, right? So they got to have a pay to play type model.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, you can. It will take a while to grind to get enough currency to buy the weapon permanently. So you can just buy it for like $1 or something instead.
you can also there are like 4 actual like creatable characters. If anybody else has played Metal Gear Online, you would kind of know what I'm talking about. It's just like specialized people that have their own loadouts and everything, and you can buy like clan tags and everything.
Yeah, and you can buy loadout slots.
The game overall is fun. I just find some of the outlying features a bit weird because they're not implemented yet, like the party system. Trying to play with Biggie and X this morning, or Biggie and Dakazu, that wasn't really working out too well because you can't actually party up. You can only invite people as friends.
Yeah, but then
Or you look on your friends list and then you just join.
but then you can end up
Yeah,
on
but
the
you
wrong
could be
team.
on their other team.
I had to fight against Cross this morning.
You got me once.
I think I got you more than once.
I got you a few times too.
So what's the deal with the medic stuff in that game?
There are like 2 actual healing items. One you can use to bring people back to life, which I use because it's basically free points and it supports your team. And there's another one for much higher level that I just finally got access to. You can use it to heal yourself or others. And I'm saying if anybody else wants to try that game, once you get to the level, I think it's 4, buy the revival injector.
Does that take like the place of a grenade or something?
No, actually, I'm not quite sure because in your equipment slots, you have like a grenade. Naturally, you have a grenade and a knife, but there's a third one to the left of it that I don't know what it starts with because I haven't had a level 1 character in months. And it's a separate thing, and you don't access it by scrolling or using the number keys. You actually access it by pressing C, which I had no idea how to do that at first.
That's weird.
Because it's equipment, you can also get like repair tools and stuff. For the mechs, the great mechs.
Another thing that stood out to me, but about the game is how good it looks for a free-to-play game.
Oh yeah, it's really good, especially on my new computer.
I hear.
Yeah, we'll talk about
You
your
have a new
new computer in a second. But I want to finish talking about this because the thing that annoys me, but that's kind of like Call of Duty style, is you basically, as you kill guys and you do things, you get points, and then you go to a kiosk in the map to buy like an item to use. But if you die, you lose it.
Yeah, if you're holding it in your hand or something and you die, you're like, if you just wasted 1,300 points on it, it's just like, well, gotta get that back.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
But that kind of makes it not overpowered at the same time. Otherwise, you'd save up for that, and then you would just start dominating everyone.
Also, I think in your example, you got a hard suit and couldn't use it.
Yeah.
If I was the enemy, I would have waited for you to call it down, killed you, and then stole it.
Yeah, that's what happened to me once. Is I called it down, and then it got stuck before it ever hit the ground, so no one could actually reach it.
Really?
It was like floating in midair, and would never came down.
That's a glitch. You should have been able to call it down.
Yeah, normally you can't call it down unless there's open sky.
Well, there was open sky. It just didn't come down. It just only came down halfway.
Well,
so it was just floating up there for the rest of the game.
But yeah, it's a fun game, and Rodney, you should have downloaded this.
I will.
But don't worry, by the time you download this, we'll move on to another game.
Exactly.
I won't.
We do this all the time to you.
I'll continue
Microsoft
playing.
Flight says hi.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can't believe you got
Totoro
that.
popped that open today.
Yeah, I did, but it wasn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't get anything to work on it. They just released new DLC for that.
Something besides Hawaii?
Yeah, it's called Alaskan Adventure. I'm sure it's not like all of Alaska.
Is it about the movie The Grey with Liam Neeson versus wolves?
I still have not seen that.
It's pretty good. Good fun.
But you got a new PC. You built it.
I heard you got a 486.
What?
Was it a DX? It was at least a DX4, like 100 megahertz.
I don't understand your weird computer jokes.
Did you get a 28.8 baud modem?
No.
33.6?
I don't know. Stop tormenting
56K.
You know, I'm just going to talk to you, and we're going to just ignore those two, because they're making jokes that aren't funny. So, Cross,
what's funny?
you got this new computer.
Well,
you can
I
finally
made it.
play these games. Yeah, you built it. It was your first PC building experience.
It was nice, except I'm using a Intel stock cooler right now, and using the Intel stock cooler, trying to install that. It has like little pins that you push through the motherboard, and you're supposed to twist them. And it has arrows on it telling you which way to twist, but those arrows point which way to take it off. So I had it just sitting in there, and then I set my PC to stand, and it fell off while I was reading through one of my manuals. So I was like, oh
my
shit.
God.
But everything seems to be working fine. Like, what was wrong with the thermal paste or anything? I set it back on and actually got it secured.
Yeah, I have a fun story about something like that happening to me. So, when I first started as an administrator, I bought a extra CPU for one of the big servers that we had. And this was like right after the dual-core AMD stuff first came out. And I inadvertently like messed up the thermal paste. And it was horrible. It was, never mind, I don't want to talk about it now.
You oversold that story.
It was great.
It was great, yeah. I was like, no, it was...
While building, I kept being afraid of getting like static and shorting out something because I built it in my room, which has carpet, and I was like, oh no. So I touched my case every time I performed an action.
Is that how you're supposed to do it?
Yeah,
just ground yourself.
Just ground yourself.
Yeah, and you're supposed to wear the little wristband thingy that I never use.
So
a few other mishaps that happened while I was building it is the I/O shield. I didn't put that in first whenever I first installed the motherboard, and so I had to take all that out and then install that. And I was like, no, how could I forget? And then getting the motherboard, at first I used the wrong size screws because it comes with like a little bag of screws, but there's so many of them.
So a lot of people are too intimidated to try to build their own PC. How difficult would you say this was?
It was actually pretty easy. I got stuck for a bit trying to wire up all the power and like data connections and everything because I had a cord that I couldn't figure out what it went to. It actually went to a floppy disk drive, which I don't have because that's super outdated. And
right, so you just tied that up and put it away.
Well, I didn't actually tie anything. I just kind of, because my thing comes with like a solid state disk tray and 2 hard drive trays, like container areas, so I just shoved the cables in there.
That's not a bad way to do it.
And the power supply I got, one of the cables that you have to reach up to the top of your motherboard to where it's like a CPU power, I guess. That cable is so short I couldn't round it around, so it's just like over across my graphics card.
All right.
Yeah, I've always found that whenever like you're dealing with cables inside of a computer, it usually goes either one of two ways. Either it's way too short or it's like entirely way too long, and then you end up with like, so much more than you really need.
Trying to close the back of my case because this time I was running it, I just left it open in case I had to like shut it down or something or mess with things. So whenever I tried closing it, one of the cables from my power supply is really, really big, and so I had to use one hand to hold my case together and then use the other hand to screw it in. But everything went well. It was actually surprisingly easier than I thought. Even like it took me basically a day, except for connecting like case lights and everything.
Oh, okay. And does that include like the time you spent installing Windows and all that crap?
I actually I got all my parts at probably 1 on the 4th of July and built it for like 3 or 4 hours and then stopped for the day. And then I woke up the next morning at 6 in the morning, as I normally do, and installed Windows on it. And that didn't take that long.
Well,
you should be excited because now you have a computer that can play games.
did you run Windows?
Yep, my old computer couldn't.
Windows update takes forever.
Yeah, it had to download like 90 things, and so I had to download those and install them, then restart my computer.
That's the worst.
It's always best to, if you're gonna rebuild, I always try and wait until there's like a update roll up or right after a service pack or something, because it usually makes it just a little bit better.
The worst thing was trying to download all my Steam games that I can actually play now and my 2 Origin games. I had work the day that I finished building it, and so I set everything up to download, queued up and everything, and I didn't change the power save feature. So 30 minutes after I left, 30 minutes after I left, it went to sleep, and so it took me another day to finish my downloads.
That was, I feel bad.
So how does it feel having a modern computer now?
Good. My old one was relatively modern. It was like 3 or 4 years old, but it wasn't meant to be a gaming computer. It was just a computer.
A netbook?
No, I don't think it had a dedicated graphics card.
So a netbook?
Essentially.
Dakazu, you were gonna ask
I think it was worse than Dark Fox.
Wow.
You just posted a link at Newegg to the solid state drive. This is really cheap, right?
Yes.
Yeah, prices are dropping.
$80 for a 120 gig SSD.
I would
didn't
totally
get one
get this,
because
but
it seemed a
Newegg
bit
doesn't ship to
unnecessary.
Hawaii. I hate them.
You can ship it to me. I'll send it out to you.
Or he'll
Strap it to a
keep it for
dolphin, tell it to go
himself
home.
and say it never came. He has no idea what happened.
You guys are jerks.
There was a
This
shipping
would not
error.
fit in, wait, no, this would fit in my computer. Never mind.
Rodney, didn't you also change your computer around a bit in the last few weeks?
Yeah, actually, I bought a new power supply, a hard drive, and a video card. I got a new CPU as well.
What video? Well, that's like everything except the motherboard.
Basically.
What video
my
card
computer's
did
a
you
few
get?
years old. I got a GTX 560 Ti.
So did I.
That's what
It's a good
Kevin
card.
has.
You
It's
have
a
a
good price.
570.
Because I'm cool.
Me. Mine came with Battlefield 3, so I've been playing that with Biggie a little bit.
I'm gonna have to get a new graphics card. My graphics card is not that good.
What is in yours?
Isn't it a
let me check.
6770 ATI 6770?
Oh
Yeah,
you have a
yeah.
Radeon.
Yeah, I have ATI. I was gonna get a much better card, but I had to skimp out on my graphics card because shipping here is such a bitch.
Yep. I was surprised that PC or CyberPower PC actually shipped to Hawaii.
Oh, it does for exorbitant amount of shipping costs.
Well, how much? Like, because I was looking at doing that, but the shipping would have been like $125, $150 here.
Oh, then it would have been the same.
Yeah, their shipping is a bit much.
Did you get a solid state drive?
No, I felt like because I was trying to keep my budget down, and actually right before I built it, I like downgraded the power supply by like 50 watts and got like certain different things just to keep the price down, so I could have money to buy games because I figure sales are happening, like the Amazon one and Steam and all that. So no.
It is probably the single best upgrade you can do.
Yeah, that's the only thing hindering my Windows Performance Index.
Because that is
yeah.
the most important thing. If you,
That thing is BS. It doesn't mean anything.
I expect in the
5.9.
next year that's going to be on the back of games saying if you have under a 4, you cannot play this game because that's what matters. I am being sarcastic.
How long does Windows normally take a boot for you, Rodney?
About 15 seconds.
Jesus.
Mine doesn't take
Yeah,
that. Like,
it's
I understand I have a fresh hard drive, but mine takes probably like 20 or 30 seconds to boot up Windows.
Mine
That's
takes
pretty
about
good.
Are we
20
talking
seconds,
about
and
Windows
I've got
boot?
a,
Are we talking
on my
about
hard
Windows
drive.
boot speed on a podcast right now?
Are we really talking about this? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Let's
Hey.
talk about something else.
So yeah, after I've downloaded or got the new computer, I just downloaded Steam games and trying them out to see that they actually run now. I'll be able to play games with the people on the Mumble server.
This is exciting news.
TF2 runs like butter.
Yeah, you should be able to run
Butter.
that at like 1 billion frames a second.
Yeah, I
If
get
you
like
hurry-
180 frames a second, like just when action is going on.
We need to play Left 4 Dead 2 because I gave you that copy how many? Like a year and a half ago?
Yeah, that was so long ago, and every time I would try to start it, blue screen of death. I was like, no, I feel so terrible.
It's a good game. You will enjoy that game.
You should probably get a new headset, though, because currently you're using a Rock Band mic.
With very good quality, I
It
would
sounds
say.
very good.
It is very good, nice quality. But you still have to hold it in your hand.
Either that or prop it up on my keyboard, and then y'all can hear my mouse or my keyboard clicks at
You
points.
should get a mic stand.
I probably have one somewhere around the house. I just don't know where I should look.
Look in the mic stand shelf.
In the microwave.
The microwave. It's just dangerous. It
Uh-huh. Is there anything else someone wants to talk about?
Gaikai got bought by Sony.
Sure is news.
Gaikai being the like online streaming games competitor.
Has anybody else ever heard of them before that news
Yes.
story?
Yeah, there were rumors that they were going to announce something.
I think
at
it's
E3
built
so-
into some Samsung TVs right now.
Okay, so this is a rival company to OnLive, the
Mhm.
online
Yes.
gaming service. But they
Streaming
haven't-
service.
But they haven't actually
I think they
released
have.
anything.
All the demos in Origin run through Gaikai. Just loads up in your web browser.
Okay. And they got bought out by Sony?
Yes.
Yep.
Using now that I can have Battlefield 3, I've used Origin for the first time along with Syndicate, and I don't get a lot of people's complaints.
I don't get a lot of people's complaints
uses
either.
up too
I know
many
Biggie,
resources.
it like hates it.
Sure it
It
does.
does.
Actually, I was trying to play Mass Effect 3 this morning, and it did nothing but break for like 2 hours.
Origin.
Maybe you should not play Mass Effect.
It's Origin.
It's like telling Rodney not to breathe.
Yeah.
I find it weird that Battlefield launches through like your browser though.
Yeah, you get used to it.
No. Yeah, it's weird when you first start it up, but actually it's
It's
not
actually
bad.
kind of good.
I
I
know a
actually
lot of
kind of
people
like it.
complaining about it. Well, it was first, when the original version, it was kind of shitty. It didn't do a lot of things, but now you can do most of the things.
Going back to Gaikai for a second, I was thinking about what they would possibly do with Sony to monetize the purchase, I guess. And I can imagine them having some sort of app on Sony TVs that basically streams you kind of like a demo of Uncharted or some sort of Sony game.
Yeah.
It's a
Or
possibility.
they could just have it where they brand it as PlayStation and be like a PlayStation TV, where you can get all your
Yeah.
games through it.
That sounds like something they would do.
Also,
That sounds
I
pretty
can see
good.
them adding it into PlayStation Plus. And saying
That would also
you
be
pay
good.
for PlayStation Plus, you get access to all these games. That could be
You mean what they
no, I
already
mean,
do?
but it would be like forever, and you wouldn't have to download anything.
Wouldn't that
You
be
would
nice for
probably
you,
be
Rodney?
down with
You
that.
would
That
have
would
to
be
download
worse for
things.
Rodney
Wait, that would
because
be
he has
worse.
to stream it.
That's the reverse.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Netflix all the time.
It's like you have to, if you want to play this game for an hour, that's going to take up like 5 gigs.
Really?
Yeah, it's streaming.
Yeah, it's like an HD. It's an HD movie all the time.
Is that what Netflix bandwidth is
I don't
like?
know if it's that high for Netflix.
It's about a gig an hour, I think.
Depends on if you're running SD or
And-
HD and that what
Wow,
quality.
bandwidth caps suck.
Well, it's a good thing Canadian Netflix. Nothing.
You guys should all come to Atlanta, where there's a good bandwidth cap with super speed internet. I don't really have a cap.
And
And
zombies.
zombies. And you,
No, that was Miami.
Walking Dead is filmed in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
You didn't know that?
Aren't you living in Atlanta, Cross?
No, I live an hour from Atlanta. I probably live in the perimeter, but not in Atlanta
Do you live in
proper.
Macon?
Close, I think. I don't know maps.
It's south of Atlanta.
No.
Do you live in Athens?
What's your address?
Rome.
Let's get it live on air.
Probably wouldn't be that hard to figure out through creative Googling.
Why don't you go and knock on Robert Ashley's door?
Yeah, I saw that he moved out to the East Coast a while back, and I'm like, that would be cool to go to like one of his I Live in Shanghai concerts or something, if they do concerts.
I come from Shanghai.
Yeah, he moved to...
Or I come to Shanghai.
Did he move to
Which one is
Rome or Athens?
it? No, he moved
Yeah,
to
that's what I
Athens. Because he was talking about it on one of the podcasts where we were talking about Michael Stipe, which would be Athens.
Yes, that would be.
I actually saw where he was saying that he was making progress on episode 7 of Life Well Wasted. So
Oh, sweet.
He said it's coming.
yeah, he said like this week he tweeted saying that he made a lot of progress on episode 7. So I was like crying.
I always have those, like, I still have those from when they first came out, just in case I want to listen
Did
to
you
them.
buy any of the posters?
No.
I wanted to. There were a couple of them that I saw that was like, that is...
Yeah, those
way
posters
too
were
cool.
great.
The controller
Like, I think the
poster
history-
looks awesome. I wish I got that one.
The History of Games one I thought looked really cool. I would have really liked to have had that one. But,
It always sucks when like something you like goes on hiatus. Happens
Well, when
often like
he
comics
moved
and, like,
to the East Coast, he
TV
kind of
stuff.
lost access to all that stuff for making it, did he?
Yeah, well, and that was I think that was a calculated decision that he made though. But it's not like I mean, it was for a while there. It came out pretty irregularly, but I mean, I understand that the guy has a life. He's trying to do all these things. So if he makes any progress on it, I really have to applaud him for it. He's got more dedication to that than I have to anything.
You run a podcast also.
Trying to figure out a way to segue into Pac-Man Championship Edition DX, but I got nothing.
It's a great thing also.
So you want to talk about
Yes.
Pac-Man now?
That is also free.
Do you have Pac-Man?
I do.
You have a high score.
Yeah, it was one of the free PlayStation Plus games for this month, and I know why you want to talk about it. You want to brag about your awesome skills.
Well, I'm actually kind of rusty.
Wasn't Renegade Ops also
It
free?
is. I already have that on Steam, but I already have Pac-Man on 360. But
I played the demo of that, and I was never good at it.
that is the best Pac-Man game ever.
I like normal
really
championship
Oh,
edition.
this one is way better. You just get a big trail of ghosts behind you, and then you hit the power pellet, and then you eat them all. It's so good. And I love it when the speed gets up to 50, and it's just insane.
Manic.
It is ridiculous. Dakazu can confirm this.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's a pain in the
It's
ass.
fun. What are you talking about?
You gotta take a dive.
It's not fun until the speed hits 50.
Uh-huh.
That's what X says when he's driving.
That's pretty slow.
You can't drive 55.
In a neighborhood.
In a school zone. So, yeah, have you guys played it, any of you, other than Dakazu?
Nope.
I played the demo.
I would like to, but it's just something that I've never gotten around to, and I still haven't gotten signed up for PlayStation Plus.
You
I
missed
thought it
out
was
on
super
Virtua Fighter and Hard Corps then. The
Oh, are
two
those
most
removed now?
downloaded. Yeah, those were the two most downloaded ones, and they removed them. They were only exclusive for the month of June.
They knew.
Well, something that I've had trouble with PlayStation or PlayStation Network since the thing happened, since the unpleasantness from a year ago, was that I have not been able to change my credit card information,
That's weird.
or I've not been able to, or they took it out and I've not been able to update it. So I don't think there's any credit card associated with my PlayStation Network account, but I can't add one to it.
Try doing it online.
Buy prepaid cards.
I have.
Yeah, buy a prepaid card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may be the solution. But because I was wanting to pull down a PS1 Classics game 6 months ago or so, and
Which
was
one?
unable to do so. Not going to say.
Was
What?
it Legend of Dragoon?
What?
That didn't
No,
come out
okay,
6
it
months
was-
ago.
It was it's PS1 Classics game.
Let's all just
It was,
guess.
I wanted to be able to play. Okay, yeah, guess. Go for it.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
It's no.
It's
Castlevania
medieval.
Chronicles.
You want to play medieval,
Jade
didn't you?
Cocoon.
No,
Parasite Eve 2.
Final Fantasy 7, 8, or 9.
Irritating Stick.
no, you're getting closer.
Oh, they have that?
Yes, they have all 3 PlayStation Final
Vagrant-
Fantasy games.
Did you want
on
to
there.
get Cho on
Vagrant
Iki?
Story.
Not. They also
They have Vagrant Story?
Final
I think
Fantasy
so.
V. So it was Final Fantasy V.
They have that on there?
Yes. They had a lot of issues with that game. See, my issue was that I wanted to. I've been trying to work my way through all of them, but I've been stuck on Final Fantasy V forever, and like my Game Boy Advance version of that game has been screwing up.
JRPGs are dumb.
So, that's what a way to be
Thank you.
dismissive, X.
It's an art form.
I enjoyed Final Fantasy 4.
I've played Final Fantasy 4, probably a good 4 or 5
I
times
played-
by now.
It's a
I've
great
played
one.
7,
but,
8, 9, 10, and 11.
I've never beaten a
But what
Final
I've-
Fantasy.
But what I've
One
but
or
what
any
I
of
was
them?
having trouble with.
Any.
What?
I think
Don't
we
forget
are
Cross is a
talking
minor.
over Totoro.
That's
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Totoro.
So what I was, I've been trying to get through this since my GBA version has been screwing up. I tried for a while to just use the I think it was the anthology version of the PS1 game and play it on my PS3. Well, I found out that actually has like serious issues. Like when you go and try and save, it like locks the game up.
Huh.
So
No
it's
bueno.
like one of those. No, yeah, it's like you're kidding me. I did it like a few times, and it nearly made me want to, throw, the TV, the PlayStation 3, the controller,
See-
like everything out into the street.
Totoro, when that stuff happens to me, then I just stop playing JRPGs.
Well, but it was like I've been so wanting to. This has like been something that I've been working towards for a while, but so when I finally saw that they fixed that on, or they put it on PSN, I was like, okay, I borrowed the PS1 disc from my brother. It's like, okay, I can give this back to him, and I can just download it and then go from there and do that. But I couldn't I couldn't get Sony to shut up and take my money.
Isn't that the same version on the store? I thought it was the anthology version.
I don't think. I think they sell 5 and 6 separately on the store, and I know that I read about it a little bit, and I'm pretty sure they fixed it because there were 3 different collections that they put out on the PS1. They had Origins, which was 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
They had, I think, Chronicles, which was 4, and Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then Anthology was 5 and 6. So, but I've never played of like all of them, like up to that point. I've still not finished 5 ever.
I remember that game
So,
having
like,
super long load times to the menu on the PS1. You hit triangle.
Yeah, that was always the issue with those games, especially I think 5 and 6 more than any of 1 and 2. I don't think had it quite as bad, but they weren't as demanding.
Do you have a PSP, Toro?
Yes, that's kind of what I was wanting to. I was wanting to throw it on the PSP and then play it that way. That way, if Mrs. Totoro wanted to watch TV, I wouldn't have to necessarily.
I didn't know you had a
play the
PSP.
game. Oh yeah, I've had one since I actually bought the bundle when Final Fantasy Dissidia came out. So it was a PSP 3000.
That game is so weird.
I like those games.
It was, yeah, it was. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I picked up. I have the Persona re-release or remake on that.
2 or 3.
I've played 1.
Oh.
He said Persona remake. He's talking about the first one.
Yeah, well, I think they are in the process of remaking Persona 2.
And 3
think
did
ever
actually
since,
come out on the
3 did.
PSP.
Persona 3 Portable did actually, and I have that one as well. That's a couple of things that I took out with me to PAX last year that I didn't play a whole lot of. I was mostly sleeping on the plane and trying to eat something before, like when you're trying to catch a flight, when you're in a layover situation. So I didn't have nearly as much time as I thought I did. Which, by the way, if you ever have a chance to go to like an event where there are going to be a lot of people with like 3DSs around, definitely go and do it because you get the little
Street pass up the wazoo.
street pass. Oh my god, it was I think I had just a handful of street passes before I went to PAX, and I finished them all by the time I got done at PAX.
I didn't know you had a 3DS either.
Yes, I have a 3DS as well. I think my friend code is on the is on my signature.
How's that working out for you? That 3DS.
It's there. I don't play it a whole lot, but
Next thing we know, you're gonna have a Vita.
This is where I make my. Oh yeah, it's because there's nothing to play on DS. Nintendo. Wah wah.
wow. Well, I've got Ocarina of Time on there, and I've been wanting.
Do
to
you
play
like
that.
replaying the same
I
games a
actually
lot?
finished that. I do. It's
Back in the
it's
good
a
old
fault
days.
of mine.
You like what you like, and you want it again.
Kind of. I mean, to a degree, but it's. I never actually finished Ocarina of Time, so that was kind of the thought process behind getting it.
I've
on
never
the
finished
3DS.
any Zelda game.
So
I just can't bring myself to do it.
Because you dislike
It's
Zelda
It's not
games.
true. I love Darksiders.
I got stuck in Ocarina of Time, actually.
well, I think Ocarina of Time came out like right before I graduated from high school, and I played it at least a little bit up until that point, and then once I left for college, it was basically my brother's Nintendo 64, so and it was his copy of Ocarina of Time, so there's no way I'm taking it. But yeah.
So speaking of things being remade, Zelda, the Robocop viral site is up. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
They're remaking
are.
RoboCop.
Yeah, Joel Kinnaman is going to be Robocop.
Omnicorp.com. Although they pronounced it ED209 instead of Ed209, which upset me a little bit.
Well, that's not cool.
Just a little. Ed209, you jerks.
I don't think I've ever
Well,
seen
What?
RoboCop 1,
What?
2, or 3.
What?
Whoa.
Wait, what?
You're dead to me.
Okay, listen. Don't forget, Cross is a minor. He's only 17.
So the movie is rated
Oh, this
R.
is true.
You can see it.
That reminds me. Did they ever come out with the original X-rated?
I think they
version
did on
of that?
DVD.
Why was it X-rated?
Yes.
For violence?
Well,
Violence. It
one
was
scene.
It was like almost.
Go watch. I want you to report back to us after you've seen RoboCop.
Maybe
1.
this should be the movie box sometime in the future, just for Cross.
Yeah, I remember seeing that movie, and it was like really cool. It was like the coolest, most violent thing I think I'd ever
Super
seen
violent.
But it's
to that point.
Yeah, it's
very
insanely
but
violent.
it's violent because it's a parody of action movies. It was like commentary on it.
No,
That's
I
what
think
what the whole purpose of that movie was.
Didn't a comic book writer make that movie?
violent. Well, Paul Verhoeven.
You're thinking of 3.
Oh, because don't they have a statue in Detroit or some city?
Frank Miller, I believe, wrote RoboCop 3.
I think I've only seen parts
Frank
of
Miller?
RoboCop
Is it
3.
Frank Miller?
It's one of the Millers.
Guy who wrote Sin City.
Was Peter Weller
Not in
actually
3.
Robocop?
Not
Yeah,
in 3.
that's Frank Miller.
And 1 and 2.
Okay, well, and I think because I think him and Nancy Allen, who plays his partner through at least the first 2, I think she was also out at that point. They both said no after this. We're
Well,
out.
I think she was in 3, but then she died pretty early in it. I think.
I
RoboCop
wouldn't
3 is
know.
not good. It has some hilarious parts, though, because it's so bad. Any part when the samurais show up is pretty great. The samurai ninja robots, it's pretty great.
I'm checking IMDb. I didn't know there was a RoboCop TV series.
You really?
Was it
I didn't-
animated or live
I
action?
just watched that.
Either.
Live action. I did not know. It's called
watched
RoboCop
that.
Melt Prime Directives.
Was it super violent?
Mm.
It was
Probably
super
not.
It
cool.
was for TV.
Yeah, it's for TV. Cross, you really need to go see RoboCop 1.
And 2. I would say 2.
But
Yes.
definitely 1.
What if I just watched
That'd be
it?
dumb. I don't think you'd be allowed back on the podcast. Or if you would, it would just be so that we can chastise you.
I think the RoboCop show came on after Lois and Clark.
Oh man, remember
I
that
thought it
show?
was on the
Show was so
Sci-Fi
good.
Channel. Whereas, in
Canada.
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Just to report back in real quick on this, the original uncut version of Robocop is on the Criterion Laserdisc and DVD, which are both out of print. Then the 2005 trilogy box set and the 2007 anniversary edition.
What about the Blu-ray? I think I have the Blu-ray.
I don't know. Probably.
I thought all the Robocops were on Netflix.
I don't know. Robocop is so good, though. Your move, creep? Robot.
So weird to see.
Oh, you are going robots. And so watch.
I
All
think
three, and then Robocop Dark Justice, Robocop Meltdown, Robocop Resurrection, Robocop Crash and Burn.
Are those the TV
I
ones?
think those were movies.
Direct to video?
Possibly.
RoboCop 2 is not instant watch.
It isn't?
It is not. That means Cross must watch RoboCop 1.
But 3 is, but not 2. And then all these other Robocops.
Don't watch RoboCop 3.
But you should definitely
Only
watch
RoboCop
Robocop
3.
Crash and Burn. I have no idea if you should watch that. I bet it's awful. It's from 2001. Can't believe they were making Robocop things in 2001.
When did RoboCop originally come out?
87.
1987.
Yeah, just ask me. Just name like popular movies from probably like 70s through the 90s, and I'll probably be able to say no to most of
Have
them.
you seen Jurassic Park?
Yes.
Jaws. What?
No.
Oh man, that is that is hands down the best July 4th movie ever made.
I only saw Indiana Jones within like the last
Well,
2 years.
Independence Day.
Well, at least you saw it.
I've seen part of Independence Day.
I think that's kind of like... It's okay if he skips that one.
Now, did you watch like all three of the Indiana Jones movies?
As far as I know, I confuse them in my mind a lot though.
Well, there's Raiders of the Lost Ark where the Nazis melt.
Spoilers.
Spoilers!
Spoilers. Well, that's 30-year-old
Rosebud
movie.
is a sled.
It's coming out on Blu-ray like a month.
It is.
And the second one is the Thuggy Cult,
What?
which is the Temple of Doom where they're in India and
Has
they
Short
have the
Round.
cult. Chilled monkey brains.
Short Round is in it.
Yeah, and Kate Capshaw, the current Mrs.
Wowie,
Steven
Dr.
Spielberg.
Jones.
Yes.
No Time for Love.
Oh my god.
The third one is the one with Sean Connery where
I like
they're
that
going
one.
after the Holy Grail. Yeah, that one's probably my favorite one.
It seemed like an
They're the
If you
adventure.
one
like
I've
any of them
watched-
more than Raiders, you are wrong.
I like
Crystal
Last
Skull.
Wrong.
Crusade the most.
No, there is no the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull
For
never
sure
came
came out.
It never came
It's
out.
been stuck in development hell for years now.
Nuke the fridge.
Exactly. God, like
Nuke the fridge.
George Lucas just loves killing the fond memories I have of my childhood.
Nuke the fridge. I could name more movies.
Have you guys heard of that conspiracy theory that the current George Lucas is not the real George Lucas?
What crazy internet person told you this?
Yes, it's a crazy internet conspiracy theory that George Lucas and replaced him with a greedy, money-grubbing one that would be okay with, putting out all these horrible sequels and prequels and doing everything for money-making
That sounds
tactics.
more like a
Job of the
joke.
Hutt with a
Sounds more
beard.
like someone was trying to make a joke and he thought they were being serious.
It could very well be the
I
case.
don't think he's actually made a critically or financially successful movie since
Financially successful, did you just say?
If you look at, well, okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Aside from the cash cows that are the Star Wars prequels, I don't know that he's ever made anything that's been that well received. God, because
Indiana
he was also
Jones.
involved with the Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Okay, so as far as his new
Red Tails. You're talking about
like-
Red Tails.
Red Tails, he made the Radioland Murders. He made Tucker, A Man in His Car.
Howard the Duck.
He made well now it's back.
Howard
in
the
the
Duck is
80s
great.
as well.
It's based off a comic.
Howard the Duck, horrible based off a comic.
It's great.
So I don't know. It's just I don't know. I have definitely developed a love-hate relationship with George Lucas, and I actually showed my nephew the original trilogy while he was still here, and he was like there were certain parts where his mind was blown, but I think that was mostly in Return of the Jedi.
I like Return the most.
No, not me. Not to say that it's a wrong opinion, but I'm definitely a fan more of Empire
I
Strikes
think most
Back.
people are, but I also like Jedi the most.
When I was growing up, I liked Jedi the most, but now that I'm older, I look back on Empire and I like that the most.
I
Empire's
think
best.
that Jedi is like the darkest and has the best like fight scenes and stuff.
Well, for me, it's like one of the things that, and I was trying to think about this week because I was thinking about, you know, watching the different experiences that I've had watching them all. And one thing for me was that I remember we had like a VHS tape of Return of the Jedi, but we didn't have the other two because basically, I think I've talked about how my parents had a video store, and basically, the copy of Return of the Jedi got eaten, like at the very beginning, like during the crawl, so they couldn't rent it out anymore. So I would just sit and watch that all the time, and it was pretty much like the only Star Wars that I knew growing up. And then once I was able to, actually procure a copy of the whole trilogy, that was when I really started to fall in love with Empire. But for me, like sitting down and watching A New Hope feels like sitting down and watching a movie. But Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi just feel like something. It's something completely different. It just feels like a different experience to me.
My teacher has one, or my teacher, my old one, had one of the original movie posters for Return of the Jedi.
Did it say
I could tell
Revenge?
because it was the blue lightsaber and everything.
Did it say Revenge of the Jedi?
I had a small poster that said Revenge of the Jedi.
I don't remember. I didn't have that teacher for like 2 or 3 years.
That was the original poster when they printed up the name wrong.
Right.
Did it have the blue lightsaber?
I had that one in my room when I was a teenager. That and the Empire Strikes Back one that was just Vader's helmet, and then I had the Star Wars one that was kind of had the whole mosaic of them. I'm trying to remember which one that is technically described as.
I'm excited to watch those in 3D.
Really?
Meh.
I wish they would come out
You
there.
like watching things in 3D?
Really?
I wish they
Well,
would
I
just.
liked watching them in '97 when they came back to the theaters.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I liked that. Was
I
the
was
first time I saw them
so
in the
pissed
theater.
off.
So yeah, I like that. But I don't want to see them in 3D because I don't like 3D.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in 3D or in the theater if they had like 2D versions of it.
Which they probably will. It's just I don't like it because I have to wear glasses over my glasses, and that's just a pain.
See, if they re-release them all, I think the only one that I'm going to go see is Empire.
What order are they releasing the movies in 3D in? 1, 2, and 3? They already released 1,
Yes.
didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing 2 and 3 next, then 4, 5, 6.
Probably.
That's
If
fine.
they do 4, 5, 6. But they've changed A New Hope and Return of the Jedi so much that I don't know that I want to watch those again.
No.
Well, they changed Empire too.
Not to such a degree.
It's terrible.
I was watching a new yesterday, or the other day, and seeing like CGI Jabba was a little weird.
Well, and for me, that was borderline acceptable. The one thing that I really didn't like that they changed was they changed the sound of the crate dragon noise that Obi-Wan makes, and that was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Don't forget Greedo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of goes without saying.
Han has an awesome head juke now.
See, that's one of the things, like, growing up that just made Han such a badass.
Just killing fools left and right.
Yeah, pretty much. But, I've always kind of felt this, that if you wanted to go back and remake or, like, redo certain scenes, like the scene where they are flying in the X-Wings and going towards the Death Star, like, for the Battle of Yavin, I'm fine. I was fine with that because I thought that looked, visually impressive, and it made sense for storytelling, to show them going off. But doing some of the things didn't really make as much sense, or definitely going back and like cleaning up the prints, or like some of the things they did with the land speeder on Tatooine.
Would
made
you watch
sense.
an Episode 4 prequel that was just about Han?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well,
If it
would
had
depend on
if it had
they
a
got
decent
someone-
writer.
If it had a decent writer, if it had a good actor, and if George Lucas didn't direct it, yes, I probably would.
Does it have Dengar?
What? No.
That's the real question.
Would Nathan Fillion
Oh
play
my
Han?
god. Rodney, you're such a Star Wars nerd.
Is Dengar a bounty hunter?
Yes, he's the one that looks
The
all
best
bandaged
one.
up.
So,
It's all
did
about
you guys
IG-88.
used to watch The Munsters?
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
What?
they're
They are.
redoing the Monsters, like with
Wait,
Jerry
what?
Yeah.
O'Connell
That's
on the
why.
plate.
I was about to say, why are
Yeah,
you bringing
Because
this
they're
up?
remaking it, and Jerry
Yeah, Jerry
O'Connell was
O'Connell.
cast
They're
as
remaking
Herman
the
Munster.
Munsters?
Jerry O'Connell from Stand By Me.
Who did they get?
I can't see it.
Who did they get to play?
I have
Lily?
no
I
idea.
forget. But it's like, yeah, I'm
But you know, the original Herman
Fred
Munster
Gwynn,
was in Pet Cemetery.
Fred Gwynn. Yeah, he played
And
Judge
to
Crandall,
quote
the
him,
guy
sometimes dead is better.
from across the street. Yes, that definitely works for me. Well, and you know, Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis were so good in that, and I don't know, I don't know how well this is going to be done. I don't know.
I don't know if you could make a Munster show like the way it was today and have it work at all. Because that show was just so
Probably not.
hokey.
Well,
And it
of the
was
time.
never as good as like the
It's
Addams
like
Family.
trying to remake. Right, that's one thing that I always felt like the Munsters were kind of like a poor neighbor of the Addams Family, or a poor
Yeah.
substitute.
But I mean, I guess if they made the Munsters kind of like the Addams Family movies, that could maybe work because those movies were pretty good, like in the same tone or something.
Yeah, the first
I
two
think there was
definitely.
only two.
Well, they made a third one, Addams Family Values. No, Addams Family Values
Yes.
was the second one. There was a third one that they did where Tim Curry played Gomez because Raul Julia had
That
passed
sounds
away
terrible.
at that point.
I'm glad I've never seen it.
After Street Fighter?
I don't know if Christopher Lloyd played Fester or not, though, but Christopher Lloyd was so great as Fester. Well, and Raul Julia was great as Gomez as well. And Christina Ricci was really great as... That everyone in that cast was really good. But, yeah, that's Jerry O'Connell is going to be Herman Munster.
That is just weird casting.
Let that sink in. That's... Because whenever I think of Fred Gwynn, you know, every part that I've seen him play, be it the Munsters, be it Pet Cemetery, be it in, hell, My Cousin Vinny, he played the judge, and, you know, he kind of had that very authoritative, kind of imposing figure, and I just don't get that from Jerry O'Connell.
But he was also supposed to be kind of goofy. What was the last thing I saw Jerry
Oh,
O'Connell
yeah.
in was Piranha 3D.
Or was that
No,
Piranha
that's the
3D or
He
whatever?
was in the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All these remakes, man. It's so sad.
Like The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Although there had been Spider-Man movies before Spider-Man. Like Italian Spider-Man.
There's also Japanese Spider-Man.
That was a TV show,
I have
wasn't
no
it?
idea.
Did you know that, well, I'm thinking about remakes. Did you know that Yojimbo was a remake of, like, Fistful of Dollars?
Think you have that backwards?
No, I'm pretty sure that Yojimbo was a remake of Sergio Leone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know that you have it backwards.
I feel like you're trying to segue here
Just a little bit. I mean, if it wants to go there, then I'll take it that way.
into a certain Western movie pick.
Are we doing this? Are we going to Moviebox?
We can.
Alright, let's do it. Moviebox is our movie club. It's on the forums. You can sign up to join if you'd like. Every week someone picks a movie to watch. This week's pick was done by Cross. Cross, go ahead, introduce your movie.
Alright, I chose, I want to say, the 2011 movie Rango. Features Johnny Depp as a chameleon lizard thing. And it's like a Western. And I love me some Westerns.
It was good.
It was
I was
alright.
kind of surprised.
I feel like that movie would not really be that suitable for children, even though it's like a Nick movie.
there was characters getting killed all over the place.
And also like whores and everything. Drinking, smoking,
Yeah.
swearing. Jake the Snake. Rattlesnake Jake.
Yes. And
Yeah, it was
I
alright.
like that the Spirit of the West was clearly Clint Eastwood, but not voiced by him.
No,
Yeah,
it was voiced by...
Timothy Oliphant.
Who was it voiced by?
What is he in?
Timothy Oliphant?
He was in Deadwood, wasn't he?
Yes.
Another Western thing.
But it was clearly Clint Eastwood.
Yep.
He had 5 Oscars.
Yeah, it was
And
the Man
yeah,
with No
the
Name.
Man with No Name.
which goes back to Yojimbo and
Sergio
It would have
Leone.
been so good
Sergio Leone.
if there would have
Fistful of
been
Dollars.
Clint Eastwood doing the voice, though.
Have any of y'all actually watched the entire Dollars trilogy?
I've only seen the first one.
I've seen the first two. I think I've seen A Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More.
I hear the good, bad, and ugly is the best.
I have that on Blu-ray, but I still haven't seen it. And every time I watch Rango, I feel like, man, I should really watch this.
Oh no, I take that back. I haven't seen For a Few Dollars More. I have seen The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Good, Bad, and the Ugly may be like the best Western movie I've
I
ever
don't know. Unforgiven is pretty good.
Darfox brought that up to me. What is that
You've never
movie?
seen Unforgiven?
No, I like westerns, but I haven't really seen that many, so I'm really
That's with
terrible.
Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman and
Morgan
Gene
Freeman,
Hackman and
Gene Hackman.
Richard Harris.
Yeah, Albus Dumbledore.
I like westerns because I like The Dark Tower, and that's a little bit of a stretch, but
That's
I
Westernish.
find that to be acceptable.
Yeah, I can see the connection there. Yeah, I definitely recommend Unforgiven.
Yes, I am shocked that you haven't seen it. Also, RoboCop.
Has anyone
I-
seen Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, this movie reminded me a lot of that movie in the humor that they used.
Kind of dry, slow humor.
Also, kind of aimed at adults, and I don't think there was much for kids here.
Yeah, it's not really... Was Fantastic Mr. Fox aimed at children?
I don't know.
Yes
because,
and no.
I mean, it was Wes Anderson and it was Roald Dahl, so I think technically yes, but it's like, I don't know. I would not.
Well, I
consider
would
it
say
kids'
that it's aimed at... This is more like a family movie than a kid's movie. Does that make sense?
But all the humor was like clearly aimed at
The
adults.
kids like flashy colors and action.
I suppose. I just thought it was a really weird combination.
There were only like 4 action sequences, and one of them was like the set piece.
movie. Yeah.
There's a lot of existentialism in the middle there.
Well, I liked how the owls kind of please correct me if I'm misusing this, but they kind of almost played like the chorus.
I think that's correct. Like, they're talking to the audience.
Yeah.
But they're also like part of the story, which I was like, that's a little weird. Are they, like, can they see the
Are they
future?
there, or
This
are
was
they-
from the director of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Gore Verbinski
okay.
did this.
I also think Industrial Light and Magic, this was actually like their first movie that they did fully.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
correct.
didn't realize they did all the animation.
So Bill Nye did the voice of Rattlesnake Jake.
Really?
Which I could not hear him in
Ooh.
that, and that made that better for me.
Really?
Bill
Yes.
Nye is great.
Bill Nye is wonderful. What was the first thing that you ever remember
Shaun
him
of
in?
the Dead.
Because I mean, he's Shaun of
He
the
was in
Dead.
Shaun of the
I
Dead?
think yeah, he played the stepfather.
He chased
That's
him
Bill
around.
Nye?
And
Not Bill Nye.
Yes.
Bill Nye.
Oh,
Nye-
I was
yeah,
about
Bill
to say
Nye.
the science guy?
No, what?
No,
That
oh,
would have been
come
so
on.
Can you
much
imagine?
better, though.
You were blowing my mind.
Yeah, the first thing I ever saw him in was Love Actually, which he plays kind of the old crotchety rock star character. So but to see him play the old crotchety stepfather, the old crotchety
Vampire?
rock star,
He's in Underworld.
and what was he? Oh, yeah, he's in Underworld. Yeah,
Wasn't he the
but
Squid
to
Man
see him,
in
Yes,
Pirates
he
movies?
was.
yeah, he was.
Yes.
Dave
David
Jones.
That's right.
Now I recognize his voice for that. Like, comparing it to Rattlesnake Jake, it totally fits.
But yeah, to see that, that was a little bit of a disconnect for me, but just shows his versatility.
Unlike other people's voices that you hear all the
Johnny
time.
Depp did a lot of voices in that movie,
Well,
though.
like Steve Blum.
In this
Yeah, at
movie,
the beginning when he was acting like different characters, doing different voices.
he didn't sound too Johnny Depp-ish, and by that I mean he didn't sound like Jack Sparrow.
So he wasn't doing his fake British accent that he does.
Would you say Jack Sparrow has a British
Yes.
accent?
It's Britishish.
Sort of. It's British-y.
Well, I think it's him doing a impression of.
He does the same
Keith
voice.
Richards.
No, that I would say that's the mannerisms, not the voice. He does the same voice in Sweeney Todd.
I've never seen Sweeney
Yeah.
Todd.
The
a
Demon
musical.
Barber of Fleet Street.
Yes, it is technically opera. Well,
Stephen
So back to
Sondheim.
Rango, though. That was pretty good.
There were a lot of Hunter S. Thompson isms littered throughout that.
What do you mean?
I mean, at the beginning, when he's being flopped around. When he's being flopped around on the highway, there's the what are they?
Are you talking about my favorite scene where he flops onto a car driven by the fear and loathing in Las Vegas guys?
Yes, I'm trying to remember what their names are. It's Dr. something.
Raul Duke and Dr. Gonzo.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Yes.
That was my favorite scene, by the way.
This movie?
So
or
early
that
in the movie. No, in Rango.
And Rango, because I really like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
We can't stop here.
What'd you think of the canyon chase scene on the wagon?
It was really good.
That was okay.
It was a really good
right.
animated action scene.
For me, when I see stuff like that, it's like it's not quite as impressive as if it's live action, just because.
Well, even in live action, it's animated.
Element of how did they do that? Well, I mean, but they have to present it in such a way. It's like how in the hell did they do that? But it's
CG
to a degree. I understand that, but in this, it's like not as. I don't want to say it's not as impressive, but it's storyboarded very well.
What'd you think of the creature design for how
the
animals
the art
look?
style? It was weird. Like Rango's neck was just
is all bent. Yeah,
it's like everybody's either a reptile or a rodent.
It's an armadillo, a rodent.
Maybe
there was a lot of birds.
I think so.
Like that one.
I have to admit, getting through this movie was kind of a chore.
I didn't have a problem.
I agree.
I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm with Rodney.
There were a few points where I did nod off.
I nodded off during the main action sequence, but that was because I was really tired when I went to start watching it, and I fell asleep right as he was dancing in his dress and everything, and woke up right when they found out the water was missing.
I was kind of surprised they showed that scene
that's
with the armadillo that had just been ran over.
A little weird.
It was like a cut in half thing showing his insides in an animated movie.
Those weren't his insides; those were his scales, just pressed against him.
Sure.
Pretty sure. I don't think they could get away with just showing, because it showed him later living.
Yes, but still, he was ran over.
One thing that
and his name was Roadkill.
Really? That was how he was credited?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the character's name, Roadkill.
The one thing that really bothered me was how there was a spider that was the coffin maker and the seamstress guy. He was so huge compared to all the rest of them. That would have been a giant spider.
The snake was pretty big.
Oh, and by the way, the 9-banded long-nosed armadillo is a mammal.
Good to know. Yeah, it was alright. I think my main problem is in the middle they have that scene where they're chasing after the guys who stole the water, and then now they got a ragtag bunch of characters. Usually when they do that kind of stuff, they kind of help develop the characters and give them personalities and stuff like that. They didn't really do that. They just kind of threw them in there.
There were 4 characters in the movie: Rango, Beans, the mayor, and kind of the nobody else was really characterized that much.
Yeah, but yet they went on an adventure. Technically, they went on an adventure with all these extras.
Well, in the Pirates
they
of the
even had,
Caribbean,
scenes.
How many of those characters were all that memorable?
You know the 2 bumbling guys in Pirates? What are their names?
Stubbs?
I don't know. One of them is Mackenzie Crook.
I don't really care about it. I'm just talking about as a 3D animated children's movie, and I say that in quotes because I'm kind of with you guys that a lot of the humor is more adult oriented. It's
Rigetti. Yeah,
it's just they do a lot of things that aren't typical, and I think it suffers from it.
Pintle and Rigetti.
Thank you, Totoro.
I just don't know who this movie is for. It's a little too dense for kids and too predictable for adults. And
people like me that enjoy animated fairs just because I like good animation stuff.
And westerns.
I'm an old school 2D animated guy.
I actually find it easier to watch the 3D animated than the 2D. Computer animated, I should say.
Depends
not
on
glasses.
Wait, then 2D?
Then drawn animation.
Like Lion King or Aladdin or something?
But although I will say Lion King and Aladdin I can watch just fine.
I've not tried watching either of those in a very long time, and I'm not sure, do they still hold up or anything?
I think actually, even though I like Aladdin better, Lion King holds up better.
I haven't seen Aladdin in so long.
That's what the Moviebox is
A Whole
for.
New World?
Don't you dare close your eyes.
Oh god. Are we done with Rango?
So, since we're talking about Aladdin.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I was kind of cold on the movie. Make it into a video game, like a Tim Schafer game, and I probably would
They
have
did
loved
make
it.
a game, and the game was supposed to be decent.
I don't think that game was. Yeah, it wasn't like anything
Just the
killer.
concept.
Probably
Yeah,
need more Western
I think
video
it would've-
games. More Western everything.
Didn't they make one called
Stranger's Wrath,
there was a bounty hunter game? Yeah, Stranger's Wrath.
Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
Got your nice poncho and your spurs and your hat, shotgun.
Well, you don't really have a shotgun in that. You shoot. You're like animals are your bullets. Babies.
Mm-hmm. So next week's movie box pick is by Bobby Goggles, aka Robot Goggles, and it is Darkon, which is a documentary about the LARPers.
This movie is really... I really like this one. This is good.
Heard of it before, just never bothered to see it.
I remember them
Sounds
talking about this
interesting.
on the Geekbox.
Yes.
I think that's what spurred me to watch it initially, and I really did enjoy it. It was... It's interesting, and it does nothing to make you want to be a LARPer if that's not like your inclination already. But it's just so neat to see other kind of pockets of nerddom that you may or may not be.
So
interested
watching
in.
this won't make us all want to LARP the podcast.
Probably not.
It's available on Netflix streaming, so you should be able to see it easily. I don't know about Canada, Rodney.
Not for me. I just checked.
Canada,
I actually do want to see that
man.
movie too.
but
Or maybe you should just rent it through regular Netflix.
We don't have
do you have
that.
do you have Redbox?
Y'all don't have normal Netflix?
Do you have any mail
Nope.
service?
Wait,
Do you have,
No.
Do you have the
What?
internet?
No,
wait, they don't have
Netflix is
they
mail in
have-
streaming only.
Canada?
Do they
Streaming
have
only.
a video store in Canada that you can go?
They've all shut down, ironically.
Where do you get
What?
your video?
Wait,
Where
are
do
you
you rent
serious,
videos
or-
from?
You can't rent videos
Can
anymore.
you
my
buy
God.
them?
Because
Everything-
the entire-
Can you go? Can you
Everything's
go
on
to like
demand.
Can you go to like the library or something?
Canada doesn't have libraries.
Possibly. It's odd. Everything's got on-demand services, but all the retail video stores have just closed.
That's kind of wild, especially in Toronto. That I would.
So
think
you don't
there would
even
be,
have
like,
the
one or
Redbox
two.
like kiosks anywhere?
Maybe at the grocery store. It's hard to find.
I have 2 of them in my grocery store.
There's a couple mom and
Sure.
pop shops around, but
Dealing with them can be cumbersome.
I
at
can't
times.
believe your Netflix is only streaming. It doesn't do the mail service.
yeah, no discs.
So weird.
Didn't even exist like 2 years ago or something.
There's some cool like indie movie stores in Toronto, but that'd be kind of hip to go in, I guess.
You're not hip enough.
Too hip for you.
It's a little pretentious.
Your mustache.
What
is your
about
passport.
zip.ca?
That looks sketchy. No, apparently that's the go-to disc-based service here, but I don't know anyone has it.
But it's the go-to
So
one.
there's like 3
I
guys
guess.
in Canada that have it, which makes it the most successful rental
Apparently.
service in Canada.
Yeah,
There are only 4 people live in Canada.
I think it's run out of a garage.
Is it just
Oh my
some
God.
guy's movie collection that
Some
he's
garage
renting
down
out?
on Yonge Street.
Yeah, he hops on his bike, delivers it to you.
I'm sure somebody out there has it, so if so, please post on the forums or something.
Zipka.
Zip.ca.
I see what you did there.
I'm not going to do Canadian. Yeah.
There's always Amazon
There is always Amazon.
to buy stuff, I guess.
There's also the internet. You could probably find it there.
Not that we condone that type of stuff.
What about DVD Link?
Maybe it's on Crackle.
What were you
DVD Link
talking about
rents
again?
video games
I don't
too.
know.
Technically, some games are DVD. Some are Blu-ray, though.
Yes, and 3D Blu-ray. There's this. I've never heard
Yeah,
of this
okay.
movie called Seeking Justice, starring Nicolas Cage.
Oh, well, X is looking
And
at
Guy
that.
Pearce.
Let's wrap up. Oh, Totoro. I remember
yes.
to remind you.
Yes. So next Wednesday, so tomorrow, is the 100th issue of The Walking Dead. So want to remind everyone to hop on over to either your friendly local comic shop, or you might want to order that from the fine folks over at Comics Conspiracy. But next week, I think we're going to have a nice spoiler-filled discussion of issues 1 through 100. That was what you were trying to remind me about, right?
Yes, that you wanted to talk about all the Walking Dead comics.
So if you're behind on it and you want a reason to get caught up, this is your perfect reason. I'm not sure who's going to be on yet, but hopefully we'll have a nice good
I'll be on.
conversation regarding it.
I might catch up on Walking Dead.
So yeah, do that, please and thank you.
Yep, and that will pretty much end the podcast for us. Thanks for listening, and I want to thank CrossXhunter and Rodney and special guest Tumble for joining us this week. If you enjoyed this podcast, please donate to the official Geekbox Mumble server where we hang out, we play video games together, shoot the shit, and we record the podcast. And if you want to participate, jump into the Mumble server and come talk to us. All the information is at the forums at forums.geekbox.net. You can also PM us on the forums, PM either Mr. X, Totoro, or me, Dakazu, that if you want to join the podcast. And you can also follow us on Twitter at alltalk podcast, or email us at the address podcast@alltalkpodcast.com. And don't forget to review us on iTunes and all the other services where you can get this podcast. And don't forget to listen to the other podcasts, including the Geekbox, Comic Conspiracy, the Comedy Bun podcast, and Good Job Brain. And that just about wraps it up. Oh, and don't forget that we will be doing a All Talk Watches coming up. Mr. X and Totoro, and I think Rodney and Darfox are going to be watching The Stand, the miniseries. So that should be up soon. Check the forums for information on that. And that just about wraps it up. Thanks for listening. I love you.